Hello, this is a video about how category weighting versus points grading will work and the difficulties you're going to run into when you shift if you are a category weighting teacher at the moment. All right, so this is a very stripped down version of how category weighting would work, and you can see that basically you've set a set of percentages for each of the categories, how much you want them to be worth, and the total percentage of all of your weighted categories is 100%, of course. And then if you look at 5 fake assignments here, a couple of formative assignments, a homework assignment, a lab, and a test, you can see the various grades that have been assigned to this fake student here. And then down here you can see what the percentage results are of the various scores up here. And the interesting thing about it is that when you do the total grade, what's happening here is that you are, of course, taking these percentages and multiplying them by what percent of the total grade it is to yield the percent. And that's super straightforward because no matter what assignments or how many assignments you give in formative or homework or lab or whatever, they are always going to be affected by this particular category weight, as you would normally expect. And so for those of you guys who've done category weighting, that's always worked for you and you've been happy. And unfortunately now, the district is moving us to pure points, and there are reasons for that, largely around parent communication. And the debate on that is outside the purview of this particular video. So with straight points, you don't see obviously any percentages for the categories because that's no longer a thing. And so what happens here is you simply total up all the points and divide by the possible points. So you have this new calculation issue here going on. You can see this total column was not there on the category weighting column because it didn't matter. And so the tricky part here is that even though the student has done the same quality or same percentage of work, because they didn't change any of these grades on the various sorts of assignments, and actually the source will display the grades this way because they did get 88% of their lab grade, the total grade is actually different between the two of them because the form of calculation is different. So you can see here it's 78% because they did get 78% of the total possible points available for this fake situation. In the category weighted system, these same numbers yielded 75%. So what this means is that you are going to have to really think, if you were a category weighter, or honestly if you're any teacher, how much you want each sort of assignment to be worth. And I would definitely, and you're going to have to do this for your syllabus, think about what you want your category weights to be about. You won't know exactly how to make, unless you do some really complicated math, the test be worth 30% and the formative 15 or whatever percentages you want. But you will have to think about, like, how much does a test have to be in relationship to the kinds of homework I give, the labs I give, formative assessments or whatever. How many formative assessments can I give before it starts to overwhelm the test grading or other kinds of grading? So although it seems like a very simple and straightforward change, the weighting issue is pretty big, and you really do as a teacher have to think about what percentages you're going to do. This originally came from a question from David, and he was asking how the department that he's in could continue using category weighting so that there would be equity across department grading, because obviously one teacher might give more labs or different weighting or different scoring to labs or something like that, and that would obviously throw off the weighting issue. Honestly, I don't have a good answer for how a department could get straight category weighting to be completely equitable across the board, because everybody would have to give exactly the same point values and things like that. So it is going to have to be a rough sort of thing going forward, and you'll have to think of points weighting slightly differently from category weighting. I mean, you can use a spreadsheet like I've done here to try and get a rough eyeball of what percentage you're giving to each sort of category, but mostly you're just going to have to start thinking in terms of, which sorts of assignments are most important in determining the student's grades, things that we know are from that student, that are the most authentic assessments, that are the least likely to have been cheated on, and things like that. Those assignments have to be worth a lot of points, and your formative or less important assignments or kind of throwaway assignments assignments, to the extent that you give those, I don't know why you would, those would be worth a lot less points. And I would suggest, if you were a category weighter, that you're going to have to keep track over the course of the semester as in terms of how this is actually percentage breaking down, especially so you can tell the parents in the future how your categories actually weigh out percentage by percentage. Not a very great answer, but that is the answer you get.